What is going on, party people? What is going on? This is the Soul Show. I am your brother Rome, and tonight is a very great night for Orlando culture, Orlando hip hop. Man, we got one of the legends on here tonight that makes up one of the legendary groups from Orlando. But before we get started into that, let's tell you a little bit about the history. The history comes from a lot of people in Orlando, man, trying to do hip hop, representing their city. And for a lot of these people that have started, some were successful, some were not. These are one of the people that were successful at representing Orlando, the city of the old, the city beautiful. And I'm so honored to have him on tonight. So before we even bring him on, let's talk about the past. Let's go right to it. Yo, y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Come on. How about that? How about that? Let's go. Let's see what we got on tonight. Great tunes, great vibrations. Let's go.
Hey, it's gonna be a problem, guys.
Don't worry about mine, don't worry about me. Trill, don't worry about mine, don't worry about me. Boys got it on fire. Don't say it behind my back, dick, say it in my face, cause I'm down for drama. I be ready to rumble, cause stick out the mouth and you'll feel my thunder. I hit them more, cock and bust that thing. Why could you say, for your ass, you Johnny Cage? See that heater, that number one, I ain't shooter. And kill all that talking and jump around with your super. And next week, when I into the club, and be looking for me, you need to do, cuz I act what I act.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You heard it here first. Eliseo Way is in the building tonight from Trill, man. Thank God for that. Representing Orlando. Let's go. What's good, my dude? What is good?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Yes. Yes. Talk about it, my brother. Talk.
I
Yes.
appreciate you having me on the show, man. It's always
Hey,
an honor just to get asked to do anything. So I appreciate it.
hey, brother, you already know, man. Can't tell the story of Orlando without including you in it. This is how it works, brother.
Hey,
And we
that's
give
love, bro.
everybody their flowers.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's love, man. So what's going on, man? What we got?
Not much, man. For a lot of people, like I said, I'm getting familiar with my family, like I told you before we got on,
Yeah,
in a real way because of, when you're in music, especially growing up here in Orlando, you kind of get this tunnel vision, and you were just concerned about what you guys could do,
yeah,
and you weren't so much worried about what everybody else had going on. So this is where I was at, and so coming back, I made it a point. I said, you know what, man, I got to think, peel these layers back and see who else was working as hard as we were back in the days, and
yeah,
part of that layer. And shout out to Jesse Jazz for
yeah,
throwing me you, because I was like, no. He said, you ain't heard. I was like, no, man. I mean, I wasn't into everything like that. So
yeah,
I'm. But now, looking at your story, um, seeing the work that you guys put in, man, it's like, how can we not talk about you? And
yeah, yeah,
that's just a place where we at. But before we get to that, give the people a sense of how you got started in music. Orlando. Are you originally from here? What's your background? Because you just blew my mind. I mean, I love the name Eliseo Way. I mean, that that's to me sound Spanish orientated. So just talk about, give the people a sense of where you come from and all that good stuff.
yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, shout out to Jesse Jazz, like you said. That's the GOAT in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? He always do good to put on and do everything he can for the city. So shout out to him. As far as me, man, I don't know how much y'all want to know, but I'm 38 years old now. So I've been doing
Talk
music.
about it, my
Yeah,
brother.
I've been
No,
doing
talk
been
about it.
doing music, kind of like making beats and stuff since I was really like 18. So you could actually say like 20 years now. But
Right.
yeah, born and raised in Orlando. As you just found out, I'm Puerto Rican. A lot of people don't know that. I don't
Shout
really.
out to all my Boricuas in hip hop.
I
Come
don't.
on.
I,
Anytime you
I,
can get the Boricuas together and say, hey, we doing some hip hop, bro, bump all that, bro. So keep going. Continue.
Yeah, nah. I don't. I was raised with my mother, so I'm 50-50. I have a tattoo on my sleeve that say 50-50 because she's black and I'm Puerto Rican. But I mean, my dad's Puerto Rican, but like you said, Boricua all the way. I don't speak Spanish, so I didn't really get to hang out with my Puerto Rican homies like I wanted to. But raised on 21 Jump Street, which is Rio Grande, right in Orlando. Went to Memorial Jones, right off of OBT, Rio Grande area. So
Talk
that's
about it.
yeah, I'm from the real stumping grounds, you know what I'm saying, of Orlando, you know what I'm saying. So
Yes.
as far as you asked me how I got into music, always been into music, you know what I'm saying. My mom, raising all her children, she didn't want none of us to be selling drugs or using drugs. So she said, let me buy them instruments. So she took all the little money that she had, bought us keyboards, drum sets, instruments. My brother played saxophone, I played trombone, and we just was always in some type of band. Middle school, high school, I was in the jazz band, symphonic band, I was in the marching band, I was in the concert band, I was in the pep band, I was in every band that you could think of, you know what I'm saying. So I kind of been brought up in the music, you know what I'm saying. That's kind of was engraved in me at a young age. So getting out of high school, I had two band scholarships, one to Cookman and one to FAMU. I declined those scholarships because I already knew that I wanted to go into music, production, and be a producer. And so that's how I kind of linked up with my bros, the rest of Trill, and I just started out as a producer for them, writing songs and producing beats for them. So I mean, that's just a short, quick of how, who I am and kind of how I transition into music.
Hey, well, when you say you went to Memorial, brother, I mean, shout out to my brother Rick. on the check-in. He know about that memorial. Man, Rick Bonds.
Yeah.
Shout out to Smiles on the check-in, man.
Oh no, shout out to Smizzy. That's the big
Yeah,
bro. Smizzy. What's
Smiles
up,
on the
brother?
check-in, bro.
I love that dude. We got the same moms type stuff. Shout out
Yeah,
to Smizzy,
man.
man.
So when you're talking about that real Orlando vibration, bro, because there's many of us, but very little of us that can say that in a real way.
Yeah.
Very rarely you hear that memorial. I went to Howard Junior High.
Oh, you went to Howard? Oh, I feel bad for you, brother.
Yeah, we were downtown kids, man. We were like
Man, y'all was the good kids compared to us. We was on the west. We was on the west side, bro. Like, we the Memorial Soldiers. You know what I'm saying? This in our name. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
sir,
So
man. And shout
that's
out
what
to
my.
Jones. We went to Edgewater too. So
Oh man,
yeah,
Edgewater. The Eagles all right with me. The Eagles all right with me.
yeah.
But it's all about the Tigers, my brother. Soldiers and the Tigers, dog. But
My man Rick said, Memorial Catalina Jones.
hey, I went to Catalina too, man.
Yeah,
I was a Catalina colt. I remember I walked to all those schools. So,
yeah,
I was right off of Rio Grande and 21 Jump Street. So I walked to Catalina, and then when I got to Memorial, I remember it was funny because I used to walk past all the older kids. I just didn't want to walk past them because I used to always see fights and stuff like that. So
right.
I was like, got a man up, and I used to have to walk to Memorial. And then when it's time for me to go to high school, I begged my mom to let me go to Oak Ridge because, as you know, I'm Puerto Rican. So I was trying to holler at all the Puerto Rican chicks because they all went to Oak Ridge. And I'm like, no, mom, please let me go to Oak Ridge. And my mom like, no, I went to Jones, you going to Jones, right? So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to Jones. But I was like half scared to go to Jones too. So like I had a lot of manning up to do as I was growing up because I was pretty much raised like in the hood. So I even say in my music, I've seen, people get shot literally with my own eyes. I've seen cats get stabbed. I've seen dudes get murked like right in front of me just walking to the corner store. So it's like when you kind of see that on, not on the regular, but when you see it and you grow up in that environment, then you learn to grow up real quick. So, I like to say not too much stuff could scare me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got a gun to my head right now, I just be like, hey, you got either two choices. You're going to pull the trigger or you ain't. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about it or whatever. So, yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that about Orlando, like how real it was growing up.
Yeah,
And
no, how real it is though. I mean,
right.
I'm sure they done cleaned up a little bit, but I still drive down the same streets, and you can get down there, get caught in the wrong hour. It could be an issue. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
yeah, definitely.
So you're growing up in that environment, and you're saying, okay, I want to pursue music. What were some of the things that you've seen around you, the environment, as far as the music world, that kind of inspired you or confirmed that you need to pursue music? What were some of your influences around?
Yeah, so I knew when I wanted to do the music, probably in high school, my senior year. My mom, like I said, she bought me a little keyboard. What I would do is I would make it was like a little back in the day, it was like a 6-track keyboard. And then I don't know if you remember, like the cassette tapes, you could actually like dub over the tapes. So you would be able, if you knew how to do it, you could record a part, put some tape over it, record another part, putting some tape over it, record another part. So I used to make beats like just dubbing over little cassette tapes. And a lot of cats would come to me like in the schools and be like, hey, I got a talent show I need to do. Can you make this instrumental for me? Right. So, I would actually go home and I would make the instrumental for them for the talent show. And then like the instrumental be jamming better than the original beat. Right.
Right.
And then they would be just I would charge like $10 to make the instrumental for them. So then after that, I got into DJing in like high school, and then I just really started to really like pay attention to like beats and how to make like hit beats and what like the certain effect that beats would have on people. And I just really just got in the lab and started just cranking out beats. And I knew I wanted to pursue it. Like when we had like one song called "Enter Orange County." It was a song just representing all the hoods in Orange County. Like I didn't know how that song would do. It was like literally my first beat that I was like, let me see what this do, right? And I just pretty much kind of mimicked what was already going on. Remember, I told you I would kind of copy the instrumentals for people for the talent show. So I was used to kind of taking certain elements from beats, right, and making my own. And so I would just like mimic what I heard with like Pastor Troy or Crime Mob or Little John, and I would just kind of mimic that a little bit and kind of put my own spin on it. and then we did Inner Orange County, and took it to the club. And that's kind of the same feel we usually, not always, but a lot of our songs will have. When we take it to the club, people just go crazy, like, oh, what is that? Like, they never heard it before, and they just start going crazy. So I knew it was for me when we played Inner Orange County in the club, and it represented all the clubs, and people just lost it, like just went crazy. And I was like, oh yeah, I got to do this. That was like the epiphany moment.
Right, and that's so dope, man. Because when we're talking about Orlando, when we're talking about the representation of our city, to think, you guys were spearheading some of the way of saying, "Hey, Inner Orange County," and saying it with a pride, as well as a warning, obviously, but a pride that wasn't being talked about, a lot. I mean, you guys were kind of like the sitting on top. You know what I mean? Because for a lot of people, they felt some kind of way talking about Orlando that
Yeah, man, you got Disney World here. You got all these things here. So it's like, are we representing for Mickey Mouse? Like, what are we representing for the Orlando Magic? Like, what are we representing for? So we knew out the gate, like you see the color behind me is green and the Inner Orange County sign is green. Like, so we knew that we had to represent Orlando, but we had to represent a different side of it, right? So I remember we was coming home before we was even a group. We was coming home from some show or something, and I'm on the road and I seen Inner Orange County, and it was like it hit me. Like we got to come out with a song called Inner Orange County and just represent all the hoods. And I could say, I don't, not trying to showboat or nothing, but I could say we probably was one of the first cats to represent Orange County, like just putting it out there, like Inner Orange County. And also we started a trend where people started like just getting their street signs printed up. Like you will see people riding around now with their street sign in their dashboard.
right.
Like, we started that. Like nobody was riding around with a street sign in their dashboard until we started like representing the hoods and stuff like that. So yeah, man.
Right. Now, why, in your mind? I know why it's important to me, and even before you answer that, answer what time frame are we talking about when you guys started that?
I graduated high school in the year 2000, right? And we did Inner Orange County. Like we were working on music already, but I think we kind of got to the point where we actually released Inner Orange County the next year. So 2001 is when, like, in 2001, 2002 is when we actually dropped our first album. It was called Inner Orange County. We had a few songs on there, but the breakout song was actually, it was titled Inner Orange County after the name of the album. And we just wanted people to know what we was from, Orange County. So yeah, 2001, 2002 is when we like had our very first offering to the world, to Orlando, and it went pretty well, to be honest with you.
And the question I was going to ask is, I know why it's important to me, but why was it important for you guys in representing a city up until that point? There was very little, if any, representation of the city in a real way.
So there's multiple layers to that answer. I'm gonna try to be short. So first of all, there actually was a lot of people representing, right? And remember, I was a DJ at the time, so
Right.
I was already in the clubs. I was already hearing the chants. I was already hearing what was being represented. And
Right.
so when certain songs came on, like back in the day, it might be Master P. You know what I'm saying? Like No Limit Soldiers, or maybe
Right.
Pastor Troy. No More Playing GA. They was already screaming their hoods. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
kind of was already doing that. But we said, because I have always been smart with my music creation. So if that's what y'all screaming in the clubs, then let me give you something official, right? Let me give you something actually official to scream to. And that's where, I said, we guys go and put this track together and say all the hoods. So each hood, when this song played, each hood would have their time to scream their hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And on another note, yeah, it was important to me because being that nobody knew who we were, you know what I'm saying? Trill, they didn't know who we were. They didn't know where we were from. So it was important to me that when we first came out, that they know, like, oh, these guys from here, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made it a point in every song I did, I would say some type of monumental landmark to identify myself with the city. So I will always say I-4, or I will always say Crosstown, or I will always say, 21 Jump Street, or something, Citrus Bowl, like landmarks. I will always say something so they'd be like, oh, that guy from here. Because believe it or not, back in the day, when people hear that you from the same city, then their ears start ringing, right? They'll start listening more, and
Right.
especially if the beat dope, hook dope, and they like what you're already doing. So yeah, it was huge for us to actually just make sure that when we came out, we put on for Orlando.
What was the mentality? Uh, what inspired you to come up with the name Trill?
So we didn't have a name, right? We would so when we all went to Jones, we were all in the band, and at the time we were the 917 boys because 917 was the name of the band room number. Like the door was room 917.
Right.
So it was all of us, and we were just like, we're gonna be the 917 boys or the 917 DJs, and we just kind of ran with that for a long time, and then as because it was a group of us that would go to the studio after school, and then as certain people started falling off or clicking up with other fellas and forming their groups, then it was just us three, and we were kind of the younger guys. And to be honest with you, man, my mom wouldn't let me listen to UGK or nothing like that, so I didn't even know that they went by Trill over there in Texas, and I think they have a Trill movement in California. I ain't know nothing about that. I just said, hey man, let's call ourselves Trill with a T. And I was just being corny at the time. Like, we just gonna be real to the T, you know what I'm saying? Call it Trill, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
there
Right.
really wasn't no methodical put into it. I just really loved how it sounded, and I just went with that.
Awesome. So you guys put this album together, and you say it started to do a lot of buzz, and people started checking for it and stuff like that. What was the moment that you knew, oh shit, it this could turn into something huge?
Man, I mean, after we dropped Inner Orange County, we started getting booked for shows all over right there. I wouldn't say that that was probably the moment though. I think when we dropped after Inner Orange County, we dropped a song called "Swing on Everybody," and "Swing on Everybody" started getting played on the radio, 102 Jams. Inner Orange County didn't get played on 102 Jams, but "Swing on Everybody" got played on 102 Jams because at the time DJ J Love, remember J Love?
Shout out to J Love.
Yeah, he would he had this section in his show where he would tell people to call in and represent part of the city or something like
Right,
that.
right,
So he used "Swing on Everybody" as his intro, right? So "Swing on Everybody" got played on 102 Jams for like every night, just the intro for like a year or two, and people was like, "Who are them guys?" And then they found out that it was us, the same guys that sung "Inner Orange County." So then Swing on Everybody, then Crime Mob came out with a song called Nuck If You Buck, right? And
right,
I just didn't understand what Nuck If You Buck meant. Nuck If You Buck. I still don't understand what that phrase means. I guess put your knuckles up if you want to buck. I don't know what it means, but all I know is I was like, I like where they were going with it, but I told the boys, I'm like, man, I'm finna do a beat just like that. Remember, I told you I was good at kind of taking elements that's
right,
popping. I still do that to this day. So I
right,
took elements from Nuck If You Buck, and I made the beat for Don't Worry About Mine, and the one that y'all were just hearing. And I told them that whenever we make songs, we're gonna talk about something real. We ain't gonna just be on the records with the gibberish and don't even know what people talking about. So I came up, me and the boys, we all came up with the hook. I put a 3-part harmony on it, which kind of took it to a whole nother level because whenever you put harmonies on a hook, it's way more catchy. And and the beat was jamming. And yeah, man, it was history. I think to answer your question, I think that's when I knew, doing it 3 times kind of in a row with Inner Orange County, Swing on Everybody, and Don't Worry About Mine. That's when I knew this could be, if I focused on this could be something like we could do this.
right. And shout out to my brother DJ Quest on the check-in. He said that was called the roll call.
Yeah, the roll call. DJ Quest, hold on, DJ Quest, which
Big
one?
Haiti.
Oh, the homie. That's what's up, man. He
Yeah,
was he was around these parts at that time. I ain't know that.
yeah. Bro, that's what makes Orlando kind of like one of these one of a kind places in in the United States because like New York, you could live in the Bronx and very rarely will you go to Brooklyn. And
Wow.
for a lot of people here, it's similarly the same thing. Like people tend to, if you live in Pine Hills, you tend to stay over in Pine Hills.
Yeah.
You ain't trying to move like that. And
Yeah.
and and so for a lot of people, you'd be surprised the people that live here, and you would never know because you don't go on that side of town,
Yeah.
And
That's what's up.
but I love that story because that story defines what Orlando is. Shout out to Smiles because Smiles, he was
Oh,
on the
I see
show.
it now. DJ Quest. I thought you were saying DJ Quest, the one that used to be on Power. No, yeah, DJ Quest. Yeah, that's the homie. Yeah, I see you, brother. He's a producer too, man. Shout out to him. He's made some hit records, man. So
Yeah.
shout out to DJ Quest. I appreciate you, bro. I see. I
Uh,
didn't know I could see. I didn't know I could see the chat right here. So I see everybody.
oh,
That's
okay,
what's
cool,
up.
cool.
Dope.
So Smiles, he was on the show and he literally said something similar to what you said, which was,
What's that?
he worked the radio in a way where they had to play what he was doing. So
Yeah.
he rapped a commercial,
Yes.
102,
Yes.
and
Yes.
wound up running that commercial for Jamaica Me Crazy. And
Bam.
that's how people got to know his skill set.
I
And
remember that, bro. I remember that. Wow. Yes, I remember that. But
so
that was smart to do. Even to this day, younger artists will hit me up. Hey, man, what I need to do? What I need to do? I say, man, be smart. Be smart. Do what other artists ain't doing. Hit up the poppin' DJs and do a drop for them. Back then, they used to call them a dub. Do a dub for them. And basically take your most popular song, right? And then shout that DJ out. If I was to release a record right now, like, and that I wanted to push, I would hit up literally and I would hit up all the popping DJs and I would say, hey, bro, I'm finna do a dub play for you. And man, DJs love that. Like I don't know. I haven't had a DJ that told me, no, I don't want one because they love being able to mix their name in the club and spin their name and just, oh, shout out. And then next thing you know, that's going to turn into spins for you and turn into all type of stuff just because you took a moment. So that was genius move on Smiles' part. And really, Trill did a whole lot of that. We used to have drop days. We had on Wednesday, it's drop day. So we would literally spend all day in the studio recording drops and dub plays. And we just had a different work ethic, man. So I don't know a lot of artists that really do that. I think that's something that the artists could get back to for sure.
right, and you nailed it right on the head because for a lot of people who want to be artists, they forget how important the DJ is. You want somebody to play your music, but yet you're not taking advantage of all of the assets that you as an artist may have. You can write a song that may be a dub plate to, reggae artists ain't stupid. They do that shit all the time. Like,
yeah,
you play me.
yes,
I'm gonna do a dub plate for you,
yeah,
and it's going to murder the house and everybody's going to remember. And so we as, artists, we should be the first ones to be like, okay, I may not get my record on yet.
yeah.
But if I do this one, he's going to play my record because he's going to hear that I'm versatile.
Bam. We already know. But I mean, kind of if you do a dub to your record for a DJ, you actually are getting your record on because a lot of times, while people are jamming to your beat, screaming out the DJ name, a lot of times the DJ will go ahead and mix your record in anyway, right? So you would get at least the hook or the first verse in. So like I said, man, we did a whole lot of that back in the day. And that's something that these new artists can definitely get back to. And just a mindset move. Artists have to get back to the concept of giving, right, and not so much receiving, because I'm a DJ too, so I have a different perspective on it, right? So I still DJ to this day. I DJ proms, concerts, anything, homecomings, and it's like, one thing that irks me is somebody who I never seen before coming up in my DJ booth, handing me a record or telling me to play their record. I'm like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? So, to the artist, I don't know why we going this way, but to the artist, first of all, do your homework, right, on who the DJ is, right? Do your homework on the style of music they play. And then when you go in the DJ booth, offer to buy them a drink or what can you do for them first? Make yourself known. That'll automatically, if you put your mind state in a state of servitude, they're going to automatically, man, this dude cool. Like, how many DJ Pizzol, I don't know if you know him. Do you know DJ Pizzol?
No.
Yeah, it was funny because how we got on an underground radio station in Orlando. I don't know if you remember the underground radio station, but
so 95 Live.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we did was we knew the DJs would be in there, locked in there like for hours, right? So we was new, we wasn't getting our song played, so we went to McDonald's and we got the DJ like 4 hamburgers and fries and drinks, and we just came up there and we gave him the food with our CD in the bag. Man, do you know our record stayed on the underground radio station just because
Right.
we thought enough to be like, man, this dude might be hungry, so instead of just taking our record, let's bring him some food. Let's throw a 20 in the bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff goes so far, bro. Like, if artists could think out the box and stop being like me and think, how can I give to the DJ? And like I said, I'm a DJ myself, so maybe I'm cheating because I just kind of know our mindset a little bit. But yeah, go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right on the money, man. You're hitting it out the park, bro. It what you're saying or what you're alluding to is how do you have better relationships with people? You know,
Yeah,
people don't mind being used as long as they feel like, you're giving too. What good is talent if no one cares to use it,
yeah,
right? So it isn't an issue of what you can get out of me. It's also how can we make this thing mutual? No one's going to enter any kind of agreement of any sort or
yeah,
any kind of consensus if there's not a mutual agreement to it.
yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what a lot of people forget when they begin to call themselves something. Oh, I'm an artist. I don't need this.
Hmm.
I don't need them. They're haters. I'm a DJ. I don't need to play your record. And all of this kind of back and forth nonsense
Yeah,
that for some reason is celebrated in our damn culture.
yeah, that's true.
How could we go against somebody quickly? Whereas how do we find a way to work with each other? I think Orlando stands to gain some good ground with people like yourself who have that ability to see the bigger picture or to
Yeah,
see. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking past you.
bam,
So this idea of, yeah, you might need me today, but if I help you today, that's going to help me later with something
bam.
else that I need help from because karma is serious.
It's
You know,
serious, man.
the
It's
people you
serious.
step on today, you know, will be stepping on you, you know, later
That's
on.
true. That's true,
Uh,
man.
what was the moment where the record deal and the next level up begin to come into play for you guys?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. A lot of these I don't think I've ever even answered. So, all right. So the record deal, I would say, came into play with Trill when we had three records that were already being played on Orlando radio.
Right.
It was Swing on Everybody. No, it was Inner Orange County. No, Inner Orange County getting played. It was no, Inner Orange County was on Underground. Swing on Everybody was on 102 Jams, and I'm Not Locked Down was on 102 Jams. All right, got it. So it was two records that were already played on radio. And we went to, back then it was down south. Julia Beverly did a Ozone Magazine Awards. I don't know if you remember
Shout out
that.
to Julia Beverly. She's going to be on Friday night.
Wow.
Uh,
Really?
can't wait
Wow.
for her to come on the show. But yes,
Wow.
Ozone Magazine was the pinnacle of artists
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
were bubbling in Orlando at the time.
Absolutely. So we went down to Ozone weekend, and we at the time we it was so fun. I remember like yesterday there was it was a label panel. So it was all these labels up there. It was Atlantic. It was all these labels I can't remember at the time. Jive when they were still open. Boom, boom, boom. So one of the moderators stood up and said to all the people in the auditorium or whatever, they said, if you are an artist and right now you got your city on lock, and right now everybody in your city playing you, and you on the radio and you got it crunk and whatever, I want you to I want you, who is that artist, right? So it went crazy in there because all the artists like, oh, me. So everybody boo boo. So Trill, we always been chill. So we sitting down, right? We like, oh man, it's whatever. We ain't finna be like no gold diggers, or like we ain't finna feel like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
whatever. Come see us. So next thing you know, after all that hype done went down, because we was on the radio for real. Like we was doing numbers for real. So
Right.
then after all that hype died down, like a group of people just like looked at us and was like, Trill, it's Trill. No, for real, it's Trill. So we was like, so then all the labels was looking at us, and then We didn't, once again, we real cool. Like we don't be trying to like sell ourselves. So we was like, it's whatever. Like, and then our manager at the time said, hey, no, we good, y'all do y'all thing. And then what happened was our manager had the microphone and was like, but we gonna see y'all real soon. I'm sure we'll see y'all real soon, right? So it was so funny how he said that to the labels, because it was all of them. He said, we'll see y'all real soon. Like the next summer, we came out with I'm Not Locked Down. And I'm Not Locked Down went straight to the radio and was literally getting spinned like 24 hours a day. So
Wow.
it was funny because as soon as that happened, we had 4 labels right away fly us straight to California and straight to New York. So
Wow.
we walk. It was funny. We walk inside the label. We go and we sit at the round table. You know how it is. And the same cats that was at the Ozone Wars the previous year were at that table. And the face they had on the look they had on their face, they looked at us. I'll never forget. They said, "Man, you wasn't kidding. Y'all really said we will see y'all next year." And we was we just bust out laughing like, yeah, like so that
Wow.
was kind of how that happened. It was like a small little bit in war, but we ended up going with Universal Records. And that's a whole nother conversation when you want to get to that. But yeah, just wanted to walk you through that.
Right. And but once again, for
Yeah,
six,
it was DJ Quest said it was a DJ panel. Yeah, I don't know if he was there, but it was a DJ panel, and that was it was crazy because you had the core DJs and some other DJs at the time. Oh, why can't I remember their name? You know, one of the DJs said, "Yo, we're not a movement. We're this and we're not that." And then the other DJ stood up and like, "We're not a movement either." And then the DJs was about to fight, bro. That whole scene was just crazy, dog. I remember that.
wow. Wow. Well, that's big for Orlando
Yeah,
in general.
yeah,
Anytime you could get some people that could potentially sign a major record deal, and they're also representing the city at the same time. I mean, that's just a special moment
yeah.
in Orlando hip hop history for real. Um, so you get this deal. Walk us through what were the things that immediately changed and kind of brought things to the pinnacle, if you will.
So pinnacle, define pinnacle as you define it.
Well, you know, where it reaches the
the mat, the
apex as it could possibly go.
yeah. I would think honestly the Don't Worry About Mine era was the pinnacle right there. Like when
Right,
we dropped that song, it was such a pivotal song, like route we could have took, and it was so many different I would say mistakes and lessons and things that we learned from that. But I would definitely, to answer your question, I would say the Don't Worry About Mine. That was when the labels were calling. That was when, I don't know if you remember, Asylum was a thing back then.
right,
Jive, we went to Asylum, Jive, Atlantic, and we went to, it was one more, Universal. It was 4. We literally went to all four of those. I mean, Jive and Asylum were in the same building. Asylum was on the first floor and Jive was on the second. And then Atlantic, or was it Atlantic? I think it was, yeah, it was Atlantic and Asylum were on the same building. Jive was like down the street, and then Atlantic was in California. So, well, they had a New York office too, but and Universal was across the street. Sorry about that. I'm trying to sort it out. So,
yeah,
I said all that to say, we had a lot of choices to make, like, okay, which one to go with. And then at the time, are we trying to do a label deal? Are we trying to do a single deal? Are we trying to do an album deal? It was so many things that just like, we didn't have the education on, what I'm saying, as
right,
just young kids, to be honest with you, that
right,
who knows, if we would have went that route, it may have been different, or we would have went that route, it may have been different. But to answer your question, Don't Worry About Mine was definitely like the pinnacle of, because we prove like for like the third or fourth or fifth time that we understand the hit making formula. You know what I'm saying?
right,
We understood how to formulate a hook that people want to hear. We understood how to formulate a song that people want to hear, production that people want to hear. So that is when that was the pinnacle right there.
right. So talk about. Uh, did you guys sign to the label that you chose, and was that the moment in which you guys knew, okay, boom, this is about to go worldwide? Was there breaks that happened to prevent that from happening? What was
Honest,
the story behind
honestly, in retrospect, we didn't really know it at the time, but we had a good feeling that Atlantic would have been the best fit for us because Atlantic, they are built. Well, I don't know how they are now, but they were built around artist cultivation. Like they're built around growing an artist. So Atlantic will take an artist that's not even popping. Atlantic will take an artist that has no radio spins. Well, they used to, and they would groom that artist. They will
Yeah,
put the artist in, yeah, they will put the artist in the studio with the dope producers, put the artist in the studio with the dope writers, and they would basically groom that artist and blow that artist and just do it over and over. So
right,
that would have been the best situation for us because we being so young, right, and didn't know so much, we needed that type of situation. We ended up going with Universal with a solo deal, and Universal, they were like a machine. Come in, come in, and like we literally got signed the same summer. The Shop Boys got signed, and they had a song called "Party Like a Rock Star."
right,
We
right.
got signed with them. This other dude, I can't remember his name. Young something. He had a dope song too. Young something. He was from out of Atlanta. He had one song, and then we got signed. It was a couple other cats, and we all technically were like one hit wonders. We all got signed with Atlantic, and I think what their what their role was to do was, okay, well, y'all done got on the radio, y'all done got all these shows, so we're gonna sign you, and then just kind of hope y'all get bigger. And if y'all don't get bigger, then the deal is over. If y'all do get bigger, then we'll do another solo deal, or we'll do an album deal, or something like that. And
Right,
we really didn't need that situation. We needed somebody who was willing to help us take the record like worldwide. Because when I was speaking to Craig Cowman before he actually retired, Craig Cowman, one of the things that I'll never forget is when we were in New York, sitting in his office. Craig Cowman had this big old penthouse type office, like look over at the whole New York. And he looked at us and he was like, "Yo, who's the producer?" I'm like, "I'm the producer." He's like, "Who wrote this?" It was "I'm Not Like That." And I'm like, "I wrote it." And he's like, "Who's singing the hook?" I'm like, I sing the hook." So he was like, "Okay, so it's basically like this your song and the group is on it." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." So he was like, he said, "Man, I'm not locked down." He said, "It reminds me," in which I didn't know at the time, that he signed like so many people like Missy Elliott, some of these other people that are like huge, because he mentioned them. He like, "I signed this person, I signed that person, I signed this person." And he was like, "Y'all, the way y'all wrote that song in the chord progression, how y'all did it reminds me of something that they would do." So he was like, "I could see y'all getting real big." So that was a huge compliment coming from him. He done signed legends, you know what I'm saying?
right.
So whatever happened and didn't work out, as far as the deal didn't go through, we really would have been served better on Atlantic Records, because they really had a bigger vision on how to like get us to the right crowd of people versus just a single deal that maybe they might market us to the hood crowd or something, because we weren't really like a hood group, if that makes sense.
Right, right, right. Your music kind of needed just a little more polishing to get over that regional thing, and then, like to your point, go worldwide on everything. And Atlantic, they do have a reputation of not being such a Walmart of sorts of record companies as Universal is. Uh,
Yeah,
whereas to your point, I mean, they got a real. If you don't have kind of like a record company already going on with Universal that can
exactly.
do the
Then it's
work,
the issue. That's true. Like a Quest said, like B.O.B. We got signed like maybe a year before he did, or two. It was at the same time, because what's funny is, even though we didn't get signed to Atlantic Records as a group, we got signed to Universal as a group, but then Atlantic still signed us a publishing deal. So we would always still go to Atlanta, Miami, the Hit Factory in Miami, and Doppler in Atlanta, and we would work with still big artists and help write like help write the songs or help produce the songs. I remember when what is it, low, so that was Juvenile song. And Juvenile, Atlantic didn't like Juvenile's verses. So
oh
they gave
wow,
it, yeah, they gave it to Flow Rider, and Flow Rider killed the verses, you know what I'm saying?
right, right,
So
right,
I have so many stories about sometimes when I listen to the radio now, I tell my wife, I'm like, "Hey, that song was being shopped to so and so," and she don't get into music, so she's like, "Whatever." So I don't really got anybody to talk to, but it's just amazing how a beat would get formed, and then there'll be about 5 or 6 different versions of it, like T-Pain and Plies Shouty. That hook was floating around forever, you know what I'm saying? And then Plies just kind of jumped on it. That's a whole nother story, because sometimes Plies would get the records and he would actually rap on them and kind of leak them a little bit, but he had
right.
such a big following that it would just go anyway. But so yeah, that's a different topic.
Very, very, very interesting. Great insight, man. Because that for a lot, like I did not know that that was a Juvenile song.
Yeah,
Um,
that was when Atlantic was trying to bring Juvenile back in at that time. So we was in the studio and we was listening to it, and he I guess they were trying to make a back that ass up part two. I don't know, but he didn't really do it. But Flow Rider was like dun 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 dun, you know what I'm saying? And T Pain
right.
had killed the hook, so it was like he killed it. So yeah, it turned out being Flow Rider's one of his. I don't know if it was his first big hit, but one of his first big hits.
I
Yeah,
mean that's wedding music now. Like that's in everything. Ev- That's in everything. It's
yeah,
it's it's crazy. Like in Kansas City, I mean that was the number one record for most weddings. Oh, you gotta play this song. You gotta play this song. You know. But yeah, that's amazing, bro. Because a lot of people don't know the inner workings of record companies and how they do certain things, and how, to your point, it's kind of like a soft opening with a lot of these records. They pass it around until they find the right voice or right delivery or right person to do it, and you know. But when you hear
absolutely.
it, you think it was the first time.
No, no, it ain't. No, at the same time, when they were working on the Juvenile album, they had Fabo from what is it, the D4L. They were working on him an album, so they were giving him a lot of those same beats and same hooks and stuff too. But he didn't. To be honest with you, he didn't do none of those beats right. So I don't think that's why we ever seen a album from him. So he
Right,
needed his own he needed his own, in-house producer that could produce to him. You can't just give him a beat and a hook that's kind of already there, because he is the hook guy. You know what I'm saying? He is the hook guy. So, but yeah, kind of like to your point, man. A lot of times those records are passed around and until they get the right song on them. So yeah.
what is your feeling about producing from the ground up, because a lot of these people, and I know this is probably stupid as hell, but a lot of people think if they don't have a music background, they tend to think that what they're hearing is the actual person that did it, right? They're thinking that the artist that sung it, and then the producer that did the beat with the name did it. But the truth is, a song might require 10 people to write, and then the producer that has the name probably didn't even produce it. He probably got some kids that he's submitted their tracks and produced it, and all they get probably was $100. And talk about that and how that impacts the value of artists in general. Is it good for the artist, or is it good for the label to have it so convoluted that by the time you get a royalty check, it's very, very minimal, because you have to split it 10,000 ways before you ever get your piece of it. Talk about
I you know I keep stuff simple. You know what I'm saying? I'm a simple guy, and what I think is, you're right. If you look at a Jay-Z album, if you look at like a Kendrick Lamar album, you look at the credits, and one song will have 10 writers on it. You know what I'm saying? And four producers. And so I know exactly what you're saying. But at the same time, if I'm a kid, I'm a nobody. You know how much I would love to have my name on a J. Cole album or a Jay-Z album?
it. Absolutely. Right.
So then again, it goes back to, okay, is this still an opportunity? Because if I'm a nobody, I kind of need that opportunity, whether it's paying or not. Just like the weekend did so much stuff for Drake, man, writing and producing and all that stuff, and nobody knew who the weekend was. So they
Right.
ask him all the time. They say, "Hey, man, do you feel like Drake ripped you off, or do you feel like you should have been paid more?" And the weekend, even though he should have been, absolutely,
Right.
the weekend always says, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, yeah, I mean, my producer side is like, yeah, that's definitely is convoluted. It's definitely devaluing the art in a certain sense. But then my business side is like, man, you better get on that album. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, that opportunity will make a way for a new opportunity, because now you can, no cap, you can go on IG and Facebook and all these platforms and be like, look at the new Jay-Z album. And when you see my name on there, then now come holler at me. And you best believe people are gonna come holler at you, because they ain't got their name on the album. So I'm kind of mixed emotions on that, because yeah, while you maybe get taking a hit up front, it's gonna come back, right? So just do work.
Right.
As long as you're doing work, then it doesn't devalue or negate none of your previous work. It only devalues or negates your previous work when you what stop working. So as
Right.
long as you always working, then you always good. You know what I'm saying? So just keep working.
It takes a team to do great things. To your point, but to segue into what's going on today, there's been a lot of artists as of late that have now sold their entire publishing catalog to major record labels because of the COVID, because
I've not heard nothing about that. Who? I need some sources on this.
Bob Dylan is one of the artists that just sold his entire catalog to, I believe it was Universal.
Who? Bob who?
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. Oh, wow.
And
He's a legend. I don't know why he would have to do that.
um, there's a couple more artists. One of the artists, Eric Sadler, that's with the Bomb Squad uh, of Public Enemy and artists like that. He just sold um, parts of his catalog to the record.
But let's remember there's two parts of any royalties and publishing, right?
Right,
There's
right,
yes, and you are, as you already know, as I learned, right? So I can sell. I'm not locked down or any song to somebody, but I still own mechanical rights to it. Therefore, now you can license it for whatever you want to license it for. But I still, every time it get played on a commercial or TV, I still get hella money. So that maybe I'm hearing that maybe what they might have done. So the actual publishing side uh to it, and maybe they're retaining their mechanical side. I don't know, because I
right.
can't imagine them saying cut ties with it, take whatever you want and give me. I can't imagine that.
Um, can't do shows. Shout out to Quest. A lot of it stems from
What?
the, the ability to do concerts. The concerts for a lot of rock bands
That
require
is crazy. You
massive.
gotta you gotta pivot though. Like Pastor Troy, I was watching the interview with him today. He's doing like the biggest online streaming concert on the 23rd. I'm gonna check it out, because
Right,
that's the move, bro. Like that is the move. Like this setup I have right now, I didn't have this before COVID, but I knew that hey, I gotta up my online streaming game. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Because we may be in this for a while. So as an artist, especially a legend like him, you got to think, okay, what's the move? I can't make a hasty move right now that's going to affect me and my lineage, my children, my children's children, because that's a move. Like that's a bad move. He could have pivoted in so many ways, as far as streaming online. Do the Prince move. Take if COVID messed up your streaming, then now take all your songs off of all the streaming platforms, right? And then start bobdylan.com. Now force everybody to come to your website to stream it, right? And now you get all type of course, money from that, and then now you can get AdSense from the traffic. Like there's way more ways to get paid today than to just be like, maybe he just wanted the upfront check. He like, I ain't got time for all this. Just give me what did they give him? Like a 2-3 million? What did they give him?
Um, the amount or number amount is not known, but my brother Rick just sent. Yeah, so it was Keith Shockley, co-writer of Public Enemy's "Fight the Power," sells publishing catalog to Reach Music. Um, there's been a lot of this going on here within the past week. It's this has been going on for the past week, uh, which is insane because it kind of came out of nowhere. But it's been like a waterfall, domino effect since.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. That's crazy.
It's for 311 million uh, to Universal. Uh, yeah, uh, times are tough.
Well, you hit me with that one. I don't really have any words for that one right now, because I'm just like, I can't even believe that type of stuff is going on. If Prince was live, he'd be like, "Man, y'all don't get out my face."
Right.
Y'all better go somewhere with that.
Right. It's the
Yeah.
New York Times.
Oh, okay. So Rick Barnes said 311 million. Man, so let's keep it a buck now, bruh. How old is Bob Dylan? 70?
Right.
I might take the 311 million. I don't know, bro.
Might
Like
cash out.
I might cash out because my days are numbered. And like you know what I'm saying? So I feel them on that. So we got to put this thing in context. But that's
Right.
still a hit. But 311 million, bro, that's a ticket, bro. I might take that and go to Tahiti somewhere, bro. Be done
Yeah.
with the music.
Yeah. And so, but as a fellow artist, as a fellow person in the music industry, like you said, you got to step your game up. You got to kind of adapt your game to the rules of engagement of what's going on right now.
Absolutely.
We are living in some serious times, uh, but uh, what do you think going forward, 2021? What does that look like for the artist? Uh, producer, DJ, uh, performer, you name it. What does it look like in your mind, uh, 2021 for them, and how do we change the dynamic of the value of the music, the streaming? How does that turn around in 2021?
I think, everybody is looking at it, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people looking at it like it's a bad thing. And it could be bad if you have the wrong type of mindset, but it can also be good. Whenever something really dramatic happens, it just lets us know that this is an opportunity for the game to change in some way. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, do I want to be on the tail end of that game, or do I want to help spearhead that
Right,
change? Right.
right,
So at this time, I believe everybody has to get super serious about how they can do contactless stuff. You know what I'm saying? How can I connect with my audience virtually? How can I write songs and do collabs virtually? How can I be able to, monetize my platforms in every single way? Like, I'm big on monetizing your platforms, because you spend hours upon hours on these social media platforms. But at the end of the day, when you go to sleep, when you wake up in the morning, did that platform deposit any money into your account based off how much time you spent on it or how much value you gave the platform? You know what I'm saying? So I think, to answer your question, but without being too long-winded, I think is really everybody gonna help everybody step their game up so they can figure out how they can do more with less, and how they can reach more by going out less and talking to less people. Since COVID has started, man, the relationships I have basically been able to come in contact with, bro. Before COVID, I didn't have homies in Japan and homies in Hawaii and homies in London like I do now. Like, bro, I can jump on a group chat now with some major players, bro, and I just be sitting there in the cut of the Zoom, just quiet, because they're all really doing it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So I think COVID has presented a real unique opportunity for us if we just pay attention, right? Take notes, try to connect with the right people based off the value that we can provide for them and what they can provide for us. Man, 2020 could be the best year that everybody ever had, in my opinion. I know I'm finna really step it up in 2021, bro, in so many ways.
Talk about it, my brother. This you are listening to Eliseo Way from the group, legendary group from Orlando, Trill, and he just dropped some bombs on y'all, man. He's telling the truth. It's all about your perspective, how you look at things,
Yeah,
and your will to succeed. Because
absolutely.
for a lot of people, we're living in some times where people are depressed. People are kind of, worried and fearful. Um, you know, People that were attached to money in a real kind of, dangerous way, have seen maybe their money dry up
Yeah,
in a way that, probably they weren't even in that position, you know, 10, 15 years before all this hit. So
exactly.
it just, we need brothers like yourself out there continuing to push that perspective forward, be the example, you know, uh, definitely, not only musically, but, just on some, this is a moment in time where we can be big brothers to people, uh, be mentors, instead of just hating something because you're not involved in it or you're not doing it. Support it. Support this brother. He's out here trying to do something important, not only for himself but for his family, for the city. Um, what do you got going on right now? And
Man,
what is your plan moving forward as far as Eliseo Way? What?
yeah, definitely. Like, really, right now, man, to be just totally honest with you, I need to really. I have a lot more learning to do as it relates to like content creation and distribution and monetization. Like, I really want to master that. Like, because I do want to. I've actually already been doing it, but I just been kind of doing it like however I can, but I really want to get like a system and a workflow together to where I can really get good at digital digital um, marketing, right? Digital marketing, content creation. I'm really focusing on YouTube. In my opinion, you can think what you want to think, but in my opinion, the most lucrative platform right now is YouTube. And I only say that because I've made thousands of dollars on YouTube in the last year, right? So obviously, Facebook has not paid me a red penny yet, and I've put tons of content and time and energy into Facebook, and it's just a waste. I won't say a waste of time because it still can help you get a audience in the crowd. But when you start building your YouTube is built for ads and built for revenue. That's the whole thing for YouTube. So when I started going to that platform, I started getting checks almost immediately. So that's going to be my real major thing, is focusing on my YouTube, focusing on building me some sites, and focusing on really maybe doing some courses around things that I'm good at. And I really just want to start really getting like some not residual, but some passive like income. I know people hear that word passive income and they start freaking out like it's a unicorn or it doesn't exist. But I know some guys who I'm cool with that don't sell you a dream. They actually do that, and they wake up every morning with even more and more and more money in their account. So it's like, okay, let me figure that out, because at the end of the day, I want to control my own time. I want to control my own pace, my own life, what I do, what I don't want to do. I don't want to have to be slave to working with this person or working with this person or whatever the case may be. So I'm really, just to answer your question, I'm really focusing on content creation and monetization, to be short. Content creation and monetization is really what I'm going for right now.
Absolutely. He just dropped another bomb on you, Orlando. He's sharing some jewels. Figure out your lane and ride the hell out of that lane. It's very important that brothers like yourself, uh, continue to, share your knowledge, man. One thing I noticed that we can all do better is communicate with one another a whole lot better. Shout out to Work on the check-in. He said, hey, man, peace to all, peace to all. Rick said,
Peace.
what a fire conversation. He's feeling it right now.
Rick
Uh,
Barnes.
and like I said, bro, it without COVID, I'm not even doing this show too. Without me damn near dying in a car accident, I'm not doing
Wow.
the show. So
Wow.
and I'm honored and fortunate that I now can have the ability to serve the city in a way that is long overdue. Um, and bring people together. I met you, and I'm hoping moving forward, bro. We definitely continue
Yeah.
to keep in touch, man. And
Yeah, just give me a call. I'm down. You see, I jumped on this, man. Just give me a call. Let's plan it out about a month in advance, and I'm here, bro. Whenever you need, bro, I got you.
yes, sir. Now, before we get out of here, I got to give you some fun questions. Uh, we got serious for a bit, but now it's time for top five dead or alive. Let's go. All right,
What is that?
Jamie. So I'm gonna make it easy on you. Top five DJs. Go,
I'm a DJ, so ain't nobody better than me now. I'm just playing.
brother.
So let's see, top five DJs, dead or alive,
Dead or
man.
alive, brother.
So, man, I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you. You know what I'm saying? And people may disagree, right? Okay, and that's fine, because ain't nobody gonna say who I'm about to say. You know
It's
what I'm
your
saying?
list, bro.
So,
Talking.
so I'm a DJ and I'm also a producer. So
Right,
I lean toward those cats, right?
right.
So you know what I'm saying? I have to say DJ Manny Fresh, because
Yes,
if it wasn't for him, like, I don't even think it would have even been trying to make club bangers. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even know that he was a DJ. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So also when I think about DJs in my mind and who really takes me back to a good day, like life changing pivotal DJs, I'm like, man, when I think about this DJ, it gives me good vibes. It's DJ Clue. I just got to because I had all his mixtapes. I know it sounds corny. I know it sounds corny, bro.
J. Clue.
It sound corny, but like he used to have, man. I don't know. In my opinion, he was one of the first ones that I seen like consistently with dope mixtapes. I don't know. So
Right.
DJ Clue. So after that, man, DJs, so many dope DJs. I mean, can they be like local? I guess.
It's your list, bro. It can be everybody, man. Who put you on the list?
He said, "I go put me on the list."
Put you
Yeah,
on the list. So, I mean, shout out to you, brother. That's all right. Let's go.
nah, I ain't gonna put me on the list, man. So I mean, hang on, give me a second, bro. I mean, because as soon as I get off this call, I'm gonna think about all my DJs that I love.
Right.
But I definitely got to give it to like the home team as far as like the Mega City DJs.
Yes.
I got to, you know what I'm saying? Like the Mega City DJs, they absolutely put on for this city, and a lot of people don't realize how many artists they broke, right? Even not just Orlando artists, but Florida artists. Like I've heard a lot of artists that come through Mega City DJs
Talk about
that I didn't hear nobody else playing, and then when I heard them, I'm like, okay, dope.
shout out
So
to Train.
yeah.
Train.
Um, and just because I'm a hometown Florida type dude, and even though there's lots of great other art DJs like out there, I gotta say like TJ's DJs because I've seen him put in the work. He's a DJ too that he's Bob's manager. But he had a TJ's DJs conference back in the day where he actually brought all these artists, all these DJs together, and I think it's just monumental that you can have one person that brings all these DJs together. Him and Julia Beverly actually co-founded the Ozone Awards. Like they did that together. So I gotta say TJ's DJs. Other than that, man, I guess I gotta put myself on the list. There's so many, bro. It's so many, bro. Like so many. Dog. I feel bad because you got to do top 10 or something because there's so many. But I can't think of none right now.
Top 5
Dead or alive.
producers that
Oh,
are alive.
producers, man. Manny Fresh is one of my favorite.
Yes, sir.
Timbaland, one of my favorite.
Yep.
I would say like Just Blaze. He don't really get down no more, but Just Blaze, man, so many. I would say, man, I would say, I gotta say like Scott Storch only because he had like such a historic radio run. A lot of people didn't even know he was producing all the records he was producing.
Right.
So I'll say Scott Storch because I love how he can play piano and he always add the piano element into his beats.
Right.
And then other than that, I would probably say, probably like, man, so many. I'll just say Drummer Boy because I like Drummer Boy beats, man. He always jamming. But I just to let you know, bro, my producer list of my favorite, it's probably like 20 deep, bro. But we're gonna do top 5 right now.
It's all good. It's all good. Bruh, it has been an honor and privilege to have you on, man.
Yeah.
Where can they find any of your music online and in your platform? Please tell the people where they can find any of it.
I'm real simple, bro. EliseoWay.com, man. If you go to EliseoWay.com, it's gonna take you to everything you need, man. Or you can just jump in Google and type in Eliseo Way, and everything you need to pop up. But if y'all would be dope, it would be really dope if y'all would subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's what I'm building right now. So yeah, anybody's listening or watching the replay, please share this to your following, and then just go jump to YouTube real quick and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate that.
Awesome, man. Hey, brother. Like I said, not a privilege. This is just the beginning, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be reaching out to you here soon, bro.
Yeah, bro. Let's do it top of the year again, first quarter.
Yeah, man. I appreciate your grind, man. You did well for the city representing, man. We love what you're doing over here, man.
Appreciate it.
You're a part of that sound of Orlando, bro.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Keep doing your thing, man.
Thanks.
We love you over here, man.
Likewise. Love you, bro.
For Eliseo Way, joining the Soul Show, man.
Appreciate it.
Let's go. My brother, man. My brother. He joined us tonight, man. What a performance tonight. Thank God he was able to come through and do his thing, man. We all are grinding hard at the end of the year. Some people are trying to get this Christmas going. Some people are just trying to stay alive. Big up to everyone that was on the chat line today. We got Rick Barnes, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to my man Work. Shout out to DJ Quest, a.k.a. Big Haiti. Shout out to Strange. What's good, homie, man? Shout out to everyone that was on the check-in today. My man Smile, shout out to you. All the people that were on today, man. God bless y'all, man. We will see you here tomorrow. Better believe that, man. Moving forward, the Soul Show continues. Let's go.